you don't have to be perfect to become your own health detective. You start with one thing at a time. If you have that scratched up pan,
Right.
it's time to swap it out for heating in glass, tempered glass, or heating in a stainless steel pan. A stainless steel pan on Amazon is going to remove 1,000,000 toxicant particles per day that are coming at you and what? Disrupting your endocrine system, irritating your gut, stressing out your nervous system, and telling your mitochondria, guess what? You shouldn't make energy right now.
Right.
It's not safe. Let's go into defense mode. So as we become a health detective, we're going to look for those quick swaps that don't feel hard so that you can start building momentum. And we have to add energy back into the system earlier than you think.
Symptoms are only part of the story. I'm Dr. Drew Kidder.
I'm Dr. Emily Hernandez. And on the Healing Terrain, we explore deeper systems influencing clinical outcomes, from toxic burden and microbial imbalance
to the foundational factors that drive resilience and long-term health.
Hey everyone, Dr. Drew Kidder here with Sinclair Kennally for this episode of the Healing Terrain podcast. Sinclair, so great to have you here.
Happy to be here, as always.
So we get to, as always, we have these geeky conversations just normally, but we get to now share this information with others that, not only are thirsty for this information, but truly need, to hear this information. So I want to talk with you a little bit today, actually not a little bit, a lot, about really chronic illness in a toxic world, right? You have become truly an expert, a pioneer in this space. And so I guess, first of all, let's talk about how we really got to the place where we are today, that we're looking at the impact of the toxic world that we live in and how that is driving for so many chronic illnesses.
Yeah, none of us want to become an expert at this, right? So I think that the bill is coming due now, but it's actually been building for several decades. And it's multifactorial. So you don't have to have gone through an acute, exciting, strange exposure. What we're really talking about when we say toxicity driving chronic illness, we're talking about the little inputs, the nonstick pan that has some scratches in it that you still use. The nail polish, yes, the Glade air plugins, your Uber car freshener, that you had to sit through that gave you a headache for 2 hours afterwards that never used to bother you. The Downy sheets, these all add up, and they're compounding things that have been in our food, air, and water in increasing amounts in decades. So some of this is under our control and some of it is not. And so it can be really frustrating to have this conversation. So I just want to preface this by saying this is all fixable. It is not too late. And the math is there. The data is there. We can see these exposures in tiny amounts absolutely drive a myriad of different chronic illness diagnoses and just symptoms in general, but they are also reversible. So that's where we want to start.
Love the fact that, you're such a great, I think I've referred to you before as a hope dealer, right? Because you don't want people to lose hope. You don't want people to think, well, there's nothing that I can do, right? If I'm exposed to this stuff. And the reality is we can't live in a bubble, but what do we do about the things that are in our control? Because what I'm hearing you talk is it's in the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, all of those things, the exposures that sometimes are entirely out of our control, right?
Yeah.
I'm also hearing it's this law of biological accumulation. It's not a single acute, episode.
Yeah.
It's what's happening over time. So what, share, what have you seen have been some of the biggest things to move people out of that toxic environment and address the toxins that they've been exposed to?
I think the most important thing, and I know people are going to cringe when I say this, but the first thing is a mindset shift because, and I'm not being fluffy with you, we'll get right into the nitty gritty details throughout this podcast, exactly what to do. It's a mindset shift from doc, I need to find the right doc who's going to fix me with one pill or one Band-Aid or one intervention, and instead say, I'm going to become my own health detective. I'm going to become the CEO of my own health. And a big part of that is retracing the timeline. Hey, when did this first start for me? When did my body first get my attention? What were those whispers before they became shouts? Because symptoms are the language of the body, and they're showing us not just mechanisms of damage, but sometimes also routes of exposure. What have we inhaled? That mold, in our college first apartment? Yes, it counts. The rashes that you used to get when the basement flooded in, every winter at home, in your childhood home, like these things matter and they all add up. So the routes of exposure, the type of toxin, and then finally the mechanism of damage that toxin creates. The biggest mistake we can make, especially for practitioners, I hear them say this all the time to me. Oh yeah, I know about toxins and, everybody's got them. So I just kind of generally account for it. And I just kind of throw in a binder into the protocol and that's enough, right? No, ma'am, that is not enough. Toxicants, by their nature, are very specific in the way they interrupt the body's own innate healing intelligence.
Yeah.
So, as you become your own health detective, if you're doing this for yourself and you're at the beginning, just remember, first of all, I'm super lazy about self-care. I'm a giant wuss. I hate trying new things. I had a huge chip on my shoulder and was waiting for someone to fix me. I had over 7 different diagnoses. They told me I'd be in a wheelchair by 35 and that I'd be dead shortly thereafter. I was being told, hey, go on disability. Since your brain doesn't work anymore, since you can't read an email or write a sentence, that's your best bet. Congratulations. And that's just not true. Now I have like a whole year-long certification we built for practitioners in Toxin University. There's no way I could have done that. So you don't have to be perfect to become your own health detective. You start with one thing at a time. If you have that scratched up pan, it's time to swap it out for heating in glass, tempered glass, or heating in a stainless steel pan. A stainless steel pan on Amazon is going to remove 1 million toxicant particles per day that are coming at you and disrupting your endocrine system, irritating your gut, stressing out your nervous system, and telling your mitochondria, guess what? You shouldn't make energy right now.
Right.
It's not safe. Let's go into defense mode. So as we become a health detective, we're going to look for those quick swaps that don't feel hard so that you could start building momentum. And we have to add energy back into the system earlier than you think,
I love, something as simple as investing. It's an investment, right? In your health with making those swapping to stainless steel, swapping to glass, right? But I love what you said about symptoms, being whispers, because I think we live in a world where we suppress symptoms. When those are the voice that there is something wrong, that there's something that we need to address. Sadly, people are programmed to, I have a symptom. What do I do to squash it?
Shut up, body.
Right? I have a headache. I'm going to take Tylenol. And I used to kiddingly say to my patients, oh, you have headaches? You take Tylenol. Does Tylenol work? Yeah, it works for, about 4 hours. Well, what do you do then?
Also robs you of your liver and that bill will come due later.
Right. And then what do you do? Oh, I take another dose of Tylenol. And I go, oh, so I know why you have headaches. You have a Tylenol deficiency, right? Kidding. But those symptoms and listening to those symptoms, but also I love that you are such a proponent of empowering people to take charge in their own health.
Yeah, I think we have to be, because the future doctor is you. Like you're going to be your own healer. And honestly, you wouldn't want it any other way. You can use guides as navigators. You can use practitioners as navigators for as long as you need them. They might have the maps, but you're the territory, you're the terrain. Yeah. So that's how I want all practitioners who are tackling root causes right now to really think about this. Like, okay, we're going to put together the best maps we have, the best data, the best lab testing, the best, new cutting edge information, pair that with foundational ancient healing principles and reactivate the body's own intelligence. But it's still, every healing project is still a DIY project. Mm-hmm. I'm not the food police and I'm not the pill police. Right. My job is to open doors. That's it.
I love that. So you say like you are the doctor of the future, right? You, the patient, are the doctor of the future. I kiddingly, and not so much kiddingly, say that the doctor of the future is going to be an MD, but a mitochondrial doctor, right?
You're such a
talk about. I know I am, nerds. We love this. But I think, talk about that, because mitochondrial function is a key portion of what you do
Yeah.
in your programs, in your patient care? Because can we expect to heal the body? Can we expect to optimize organ function in any organ,
Yeah.
the liver, the heart, the brain, if we're not supporting the mitochondria? So talk
Right.
to me about how you have woven, mitochondrial function before I want to segue into detoxification and drainage. And you're a wizard at, talking about the importance of drainage before detox. So talk mitochondria and
Yeah.
then, that important drainage.
Well, any chronic symptom has a mitochondria deficiency underneath it. Otherwise the body would have had enough energy to reallocate resources to manage this and resolve it. And there are, some extremes and some other factors in place, but that is a fundamental universality. Every chronic symptom has within it a mitochondrial deficiency as a core factor. Yeah. So before we go to detox and, doing parasite cleanses and let's scrub all this stuff out of the body, we have to ask ourselves, what would the body like, given the fact that it's already been on the back foot for years, if not decades, because of the quality of our food and the toxicant exposures. You have to remember that mitochondria respond to toxicant exposures just as the rest of your body does. They are listening all the time within the cell and also into the extracellular matrix. How's it going out there? Is it safe? Are we good? Right. Should I be making energy or should I be going into defense mode and shutting down and going on alert? Or can I actually be the little Energizer bunny power plants that we want to be?
Yeah.
So as soon as a toxicant comes into proximity with mitochondria, they will slow down productivity of ATP production, which is the body's energy currency, right? It is the body's capacity to do work. So if you have a constant interruption, you are going to have this feedback loop that goes like this. Toxicant comes into the body, circulates enough that the mitochondria get the signal, no good, we're going to shut down. The immune system and the nervous system are also having their own layered responses within that, because you have 1 million to 2 million mitochondria per neuron. So of course your nervous system's going to notice, oh my God, brain fog. Oh my God, inflammation. Oh my God, I don't feel safe. Oh my God, anxiety. You know what that means? Because we don't feel safe on the inside or the outside, we're going to slow down detox and drainage. Let's just slow everything down. Let's go into stress management mode. Yeah, exactly. And it's so much bigger than fight or flight. This is really about physiological responses your body is reprioritizing away from healing, detox, and repair right when you need them the most. So we really want to add in a lot of energy and stack the deck in your favor before we ask the body to do deep work. Your body's not stupid. It knows that stuff needs to happen. It needs some strategic support. So we want to ease into a very robust stack of energy support. And I say ease into very intentionally, because what happens if you give a starving body energy, it wants to do some catch-up work. So if you've ever had a paradoxical reaction to mitochondrial support, went, why won't even energy support help me? Why am I broken? You're not broken. Your body was just like, okay, I finally got something. Let's, and it didn't feel good. The healing response didn't feel good. So sometimes we need to ease in for the more sensitive individuals, especially when drainage has really been blocked for a long time. That's okay, but we still got to get there. We still got to get that mitochondrial support in.
Love it. So I'm hearing mitochondria before anything else that you do, just from the standpoint that the body needs the energy.
Like mito-ATP or mito-active rather, and like hydroxygen, like these are really core elements in that process. And you can microdose if you have to, but you still got to get them in and start speeding up the gears. Yeah.
So drainage may be a foreign concept to some, right? We hear about detox, this beautiful phase 1, phase 2 of liver detoxification, right? All the cytochrome P450 enzymes in the conjugation and all of the things, right? That then take that toxin from fat soluble to water soluble to eliminate from the body. But what if they can't be eliminated from the body because what is not functioning properly?
Well, when you don't have enough energy for a long time and when you've been depleted of core nutrients that support basic things like nervous system function and gut motility, it's really easy for the whole body to experience stagnation. And so when you're asking the body to remember how to excrete and upregulate excretion, and upregulate these detox processes, the first question you have to ask is, am I trying to flush a clogged toilet? Because what happens when we do that? It's not cute.
No,
It's a little
no,
messy, a little
exactly.
fast, you know?
Yep, great analogy.
Yeah. So it just in simple terms, I know drainage is an ugly word and it doesn't sound profound, but it actually is miraculous because we're supporting the body's own innate strategies for release. A moving stream runs clean. A stagnant pond is exactly where you get those algae blooms, the trash buildup, the fish are sick, the ducks won't go there. Like that's what's happening in your drainage pathways right now. So it's the perfect environment for toxin buildup, pathogen bloom, fungal overgrowth, all that stuff, if you cannot move things out fast enough.
Yep.
But if you're trying to get the system going, you know, and it's been on the back foot for a long time, you have to start from the bottom up. So we have to move our bowels daily. Got to get obsessed with poop, guys.
Yep.
Trying to become a toilet.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah. Sorry. We talk about poop here a lot because if you're not pooping, you're not eliminating those toxins. What do you deal with? Autotoxification. They're going to be reabsorbed.
Absolutely.
So focusing on first bowel movements, and then what do you look at, you know, is kind of next. With CellCore, we talk about the drainage funnel, right?
Yeah.
But what's within that? What's your kind of, I know what you're oftentimes coined as. So talk more about that drainage, like the additional layers.
Well, your drainage funnel is following the core principles of ancient healing, of homotoxicology, actually, of itself. You know, the same stuff that I learned in bioregulatory medicine. We're all saying the same thing. It's, there's an order of operations to increasing the body to support release. As soon as you can get those bowels moving, we can start tracking and supporting things like bile flow and, you know, regulation at the liver level, because those two bookends are going to keep your intestines moving. So that's really critical. Gut motility is regulated by the nervous system. And yes, your microbiome plays a role, but your bile flow is critical for that. So you can't obsess about the small intestine and spend all of your money in your protocol budget on probiotics or antibiotics and then recovering from them. You know, if you're not looking above and below, you're not going to get anywhere.
Exactly.
So that's why we think about it in terms of the drainage funnel. So for drainage support, I like well-rounded formulas that support the liver and kidneys and protect them in this process. You're not going to milk thistle your way through detox in this day and age.
No.
You know, and I loved it back in the day.
Sure.
You know, it's not
for general liver support.
Certainly for people who are already healthy, but for people who have chronic symptoms and conditions, that is not enough to destagnate a very overloaded liver. And you have to remember that your liver will lie to you on lab work, because ALT, AST, these kinds of standard labs are tracking very downstream distress after pathology is already on its way to development. It's not actually tracking or showing you bile flow or liver efficiency. So assume in a stagnant world, there's a little less bile flow efficiency than you would like. So we want to love up those bile ducts with bile builders and bile movers, like TEDCA, for example, which is also highly anti-inflammatory. So thank goodness, you know, like it's a great 2-for-1 right there. And it is the king of bile builders and bile movers. So I like that. And I like a well-rounded formula, for example, like kale support. That's trusted, tried and true, and surprisingly well tolerated, you know? So those two together, it's not one or the other, because they have very different functions as well. So your drainage support stack is critical. So get your bowels moving. You can add in that, you know, kale support and TEDCA, for example.
All the way up to really facilitating cellular detoxification. But as we're draining at the cellular level, if they can't move through those pathways, they're never going to be properly eliminated.
Yeah, and like lymphatic detox is very trendy online right now, and everybody's learning the self-massage points, which are great. Those are great maintenance supports. But if for the people that feel worse after that, it's because you moved out waste and pathogens and histamine, you know, because lymph is a histamine mover, and you dumped it into the bloodstream, and there's not enough flow in the liver. So you're ignoring the order of operations in the drainage funnel.
I love this. You and I could go on for hours on this, but I think there are so many tangible, you know, tools that you gave people, looking at eliminating what is in your control, getting rid of those pans, right? Getting rid of the things that are burdening the body, that toxicant with, you know, PFAS, PFOS, right? All the toxins that we're exposed to. But really starting with the basics, giving the body what it needs to function properly. So in closing, give the audience a amazing Sinclair nugget, a takeaway of something actionable they can do today.
Okay. Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with your body. Your body doesn't make mistakes. It's responding very logically to unprecedented stressors from these different types of toxins, the industrial chemicals, the heavy metals, the molds, all these food preservatives, the food dyes, all the different names for MSG. Like it's everywhere, but it doesn't mean that it's too late. And so as you learn about these pieces, first of all, be upregulating your energy and supporting your nervous system so that you have some momentum on your side. And remember, this is a little step at a time. That's it. And that is enough. It really is. You lived your way into this. You got to give yourself time to live your way out of it. So give your body grace because it's on your side. It wants to feel good. It has not given up on you yet.
Sinclair, as always, fantastic to see you. Pleasure to have you on this episode of the Healing Terrain podcast. And thank you so much for everything that you do in this space.
Thanks for listening to The Healing Terrain. If this episode challenged the way you think about health and healing,
Please follow, share, and leave a review. It helps more practitioners and curious listeners discover the conversations shaping
the future of foundational medicine.